How to choose a listing agent in the Rio Grande Valley. When looking for a realtor, what are we exactly looking for to assure ourselves three things? Number one, that our home that we are listing is sold quickly, but not sacrificing for number two, which is top dollar. And then number three, no hassle. So number one, I want a guy or a gal that takes their job very seriously. Number one, it is the most important asset in most people's lives, and therefore it should be treated as such. I want to understand my client and why he or she is selling, and the why is so important to me is because in the morning, during the week, I feel the responsibility for that listing. You can't be laissez-faire, just whatever happens, let me list the thing, which is important to put the pictures and to put it up on the MLS and to put it on the other platforms that exist, but it should not stop there. The X factor, just mentioned it. We need to be asking for grace and strategy, supernatural strategy. And you say, okay, well, God's not going to sell this house for me. No, but the humble shall receive wisdom and knowledge from God. We do everything like if it depends on God. We pray like everything depends on God, and we work like everything depends on us. So number two, selling for top dollar. We have to understand what kind of market we're in and supply and demand. Every single neighborhood is different. If it is a very sought out neighborhood, if it is something where there is no houses for sale and people are actively looking, then it makes sense to price what? Up or down? Up higher. Now, if there's extreme competition, if there's a lot of homes for sale in a certain area and the supply oversees the demand, then guess what, guys? Then we have to be very competitive in our strategy, especially if someone needs to sell their house quick for X reason, right? So selling for top dollar, you got to go above and beyond. So look, company average, the norm in the Rio Grande Valley is the following. We are going to take great pictures. We're going to do open houses. We're going to set them up in the MLS, multiple MLSs, right? And now your listing is live. Okay. So when promoting a property and searching for top dollar, here's two things that I do. Number one, every house has something special. What stands out about it? What is unique about this property? And we are going to go above and beyond and very, very creatively display what's special about your house. Now, going above and beyond, here's the next thing that you ought to be looking for. We ought to be looking for not only promoting the house, but promoting the neighborhood. Now, if you're searching for top dollar buyers, most of the time in the Rio Grande Valley, it's a grimy place here. People want to haggle, people want to feel like they're getting a deal, people want to feel like they're entitled to seller's concessions or lower price just because we live here. So that being said, top dollar usually comes, in my experience, and I'll give you some examples of how I did this, from people out of town. So we get to promote the house, and we're going to do that. We're going to promote what's special about your house and all the other average stuff, all the pictures, the details, the MLS listings, and all the other platforms where it goes. But we're also going to creatively display what's special about your house. Number two, we're going to go above the competition by displaying the neighborhood. And then number three, if we're searching for a top dollar buyer from out of town, because we know that a lot of people are moving into the Rio Grande Valley, then we got to display the city. Strategic points. Where's all the activity going on in Brownsville? Where's all the activity going on in Harlingen? Where's all the activity going on in San Benito? So we have to relatively show people that are not from here where your house is located and how far it is from their potential new job site or business that they're planning on endeavoring on. Makes sense? Makes perfect sense. So, you know, the average listing agent displays the house. So I would be looking for a realtor that's displaying the house, the neighborhood, and the area. Cool? The only problem with that is that if the demand for moving to a certain area is outgrowing the supply, then we ought to be pricing that in. So I'm going to give you 3 examples of 3 houses that I've sold this year in Brownsville, Texas, that have broken price per square foot records. Literally having the buyer's agent tell me there's no way that it's going to appraise at that amount. We're going to run into trouble when we hit the appraisal. No bank is going to lend that money. And in all 3 circumstances, I found it to be true that when a buyer and a seller come to an agreement on a certain price, that the appraisers will honor that and get that appraisal very, very close. And in all 3 instances, not close, but met. So I'm talking about selling a house for $233 a square foot, $220 a square foot, $212 a square foot. And these are not new construction homes. We did that by the following. We showed the house, we showed what's special about it, we showed the neighborhood, and we showed the city. Now, along with that, once you've created that content, it's not enough to just create it and put it out on one place. You're actively generating new leads by placing it in places of relocation. So we run ads in different places of Texas. We start off locally, then we move through the state up north into the San Antonio Corpus area, then we go into the Dallas area, then we extend to out of state, and we're launching this content to Louisiana, to the northeast part of the country, to Seattle, to California, and in all reality to wherever there is people who are interested in moving to the Rio Grande Valley. Guess what? Head start. If they most of the time they fall in love with the house before they even set foot in Brownsville, Texas. And your listing agent has a head start and has actively worked to get your house noticed above the rest. So number 1, X factor. I want a guy or a gal that actually prays before God for grace and for strategy, and that wakes up daily and puts my property before the Lord. Hey, that's my number 1. Number 2, after he prays, I want a guy that in the morning is thinking and planning and strategizing about selling my property on a daily. And then number 3, I want a person that executes that plan. I want action. So for example, I want someone picking up the phone, sending my listing to different and as many people as possible that can produce 3 things for you. A time efficient sale, not sacrificing for number 2, which is a sale for top dollar prices. And then number 3, a no hassle experience. And let me tell you that, my friends, if I can get a person to do that each and every single day, then I have a good realtor. Someone praying to God, put the things in God's hand that we can't control. And then second, working, planning, strategizing about what they're gonna do with my property today. And then third is delivering, executing that plan on a daily. Really try to understand your goal. I want to know and get in your shoes and understand and feel the weight of why you need to sell or buy this house. We're talking about listing agents now, so why we need to sell this house. So, you know, if you're relocating for work, or if you're going through a divorce, or if you're behind, whatever the case, I want to understand my client. It's two things: actively working with other realtors, and I'll tell you how we do it in a very simple way. So if I got a house listed and it just hit the market, then my job, I will call 5 people a day, 5 realtors, not just any realtors, great buyer's agent, great realtors in the area that have a lot of action. By action, I mean they are always showing houses, they're always closing leads, and they're always finding families, high quality houses. And I'm gonna say the following. I'm gonna say, hey, listen, I got this new listing in Brownsville, very nice house. I'm gonna tell them what's special about it. I'm gonna tell them in the area, and then I'm gonna send them all the content that I created. And I'm gonna tell them how much we're paying for, the CSO, the compensation for other buyer's agents. And then I'm gonna tell them, when can we schedule a showing? I'm gonna show it to them. Why would I spend my time showing it to them, showcasing it to them, and not to actual buyers? The more people that are involved in a certain project, it has exponential growth. There's exponential results. What do I mean? If I got one guy I mentioned earlier, right? A good realtor waking up, thinking about my property, planning about my property, and then executing the plan about my property, that's great. That's what I'm looking for in a realtor. But if I, as a realtor, realize that I can get 5 or 10 people doing the same thing I do, having that house on their radar can ultimately generate better results. Isn't that what we're looking for? So you need to have a realtor. If you call me and ask me, hey, what are you doing with my house today? What are you doing with the land that you have for sale today? Then I do not want to lie. I can go to my planner and tell you what I'm doing today regarding your property, who I spoke to, who I pushed it to, what ads I ran, what new techniques I ran. I want to be earning your trust and your business today and tomorrow. I want you to be satisfied when you are listing your house. So new construction is all about promoting it to other realtors. So I'm gonna get a hold of 5 realtors a day and tell them what I got. Now, in order to do that, other realtors might be listening. I'm gonna tell you, every realtor loves to talk about their listings. So before I speak, I don't just jump the gun and say, hey, this is what I got, because in reality, they might not listen to you. So what you gotta do first is the following. You got to be asking them what listings they got. And you actively have to listen, because the way you measure others, you shall be measured. So if you're just faking it and you don't listen to what they have to say, then why should they listen to you? Makes sense. Perfect sense. But if I call them and say, hey, what's new? What's hot? What are you trying to sell this week? What are you trying to move for your clients this week? And I'm asking those questions and I'm taking notes, and I'm genuinely thinking, hey, who do I have as a buyer client, or who can I pitch your property to and try to get you a result? So in return, when it's my turn to speak and say, hey, quickly before I let you go, now I want to tell you what I got to sell. If I actively listen, took notes, and try to pitch that property to someone to benefit you, then in return, I get the same from you. Make sense? Perfect sense. So, confessions of a realtor. Guys, I am being transparent here. I am just being honest. What a man sows is what a man reaps. And if a man is a realtor and he's sowing work through networking with other great realtors, then he shall reap the benefit of a top dollar sale, which is what my clients are looking for. Number 2, open houses, guys. Open houses are very, very effective. Now, the timing of those open houses is taking it to the next level. Not just throwing a dart in the dark, but finding out in our area that open houses actually work better from 5 to 8 p.m. We call them twilight open houses. Now, why would we host an open house so late? Well, most people looking for houses that are local have jobs. And so does their spouse, and their kids have activities. So if we open up a way for them to be able to get to a house that they are interested in twice a week, that's the number. We're going to keep hosting open houses twice a week until we deliver results. So new construction, builders, developers, concerning land, what do you want from your realtor? You want a realtor that's not just hosting open houses, but is hosting an open houses at strategic times. Now, I work for Keller Williams Realty, LRGV. That is my brokerage. And so I will host an open house and then open it up to all our great buyer's agent, and we want to show that house as much as possible. I mean, if that door can be open every day of the week by different agents, then great. They all have their influence, they all have their buyer leads, they all have their followers, and you never know which agent will produce a result. So making sure that house stays open during the week is another thing we do, and we go above and beyond. And then number 3, no hassle. No hassle means headaches, hiccups, speed bumps, bad offers, people not being ready, filtering buyers to not be wasting time. If I have an occupied home, it's difficult, and it is a sacrifice to these sellers to be making arrangements to host a showing and then the buyer not be qualified. So it's important for a listing agent to be vetting every single show and request that comes in. So how do I do that? It's very simple. Hey, let's get on the phone with that realtor that requested the showing. Let's find out if their pre-qualification letter is legit. Let's find out if their buyers actually have the money to come through with their down payment and their closing costs. It is so simple nowadays to generate a pre-qualification letter, and that is not the only factor that means that they are ready to go. So we need to dig a little deeper, agents, for our clients, so that we're not wasting any time. And in turn, if we do this, this is what happens. We are verifying that the buyers are able and ready. Our clients will not be upset if someone doesn't show up, or does show up, puts in a contract, and then later on, when the house is under contract for 45 days, get a surprise that they're not ready to close, that they don't have the money, or they now need a co-signer, or that their situation is unique, or asking for something crazy. And in turn, they look at the realtor like, hey, you're not doing your job. So guys, I'm giving you 3 things that you should look for when choosing a realtor in the RGV, in the Rio Grande Valley, and specifically tailored to Brownsville, Texas, San Benito, Los Fresnos, South Padre Island. You want a person on your team that is going above and beyond. So just to conclude, guys, 3 things. I want a person that prays for my property. Yes. I want a person that every day plans and strategizes about what they're going to do today and who they're going to speak to sell my property, to get top dollar amount. And then third, I want a person that executes that plan on a daily. And guys, Jose Nieto here to serve you guys. In reality, I'm going to say the following, and we're going to end it here. But the more people I can get involved, I'm not trying to stash the whole commission for me. My goal is to meet your goal. And if I'm able to meet your goals, then by default, mine are met. Guys, let's win in real estate. If you guys like what you hear, please subscribe, give it a like. And if you want to list a home, and if you want free information on how to be successful in selling your home, please feel free to text me, to call me, to talk about your house. I just want to have conversations with people regarding real estate. God bless you guys and have a great and wonderful weekend.